The entire suite floor of the hotel was owned by the Gale family. It was given to them without compensation as part of the massive amount of protection money the hotel paid to the family. Every part of this floor, from the space in front of the elevator to the hallways to the entrances of all the rooms, was filled with shady-looking men holding guns under their coats. The elevator chimed as it arrived, and the door opened. It was Miguel and some men holding a heavy-looking attache case. They quickly headed to a room. In the room, several bosses were gathered, and the contents of some attache cases were piled up on the table. Look at all that money! That's 3,000 stacks of $100 bills. Now that's a sight to see. Fucking stacks. How much money is that? 30 million. We could have as much fun as you liked with all that money and never run out. James's family should bring in another 10 million soon. I've brought everything from the Harbors Union safe. It should be 10 million with some change. One after another, attache cases filled with money were placed on the table and their contents laid out. There were some stacks of new $1,000 bills and some messy stacks of crumbled $100 bills tied together. As the uneven amount of mismatched bills grew, it told the story of how they had scraped up all that paper money from across the city. And how many people had to suffer for it. How much have we gathered total? Is it more than 100 million? 60 million? No, it might be up to 70 million. We're having it counted now, no matter what. It will be a large sum large enough to make your eyes bulge. Yo, we're the kings of City 23. That's not even close to enough. What Caleb needs is 100 million. We're still 30 million short, aren't you? Where are you going to squeeze the rest out of? Hey, Miguel, it's impossible getting any more than this. Impossible? We had to push the line just to get this much money. Any more would be impossible. To take any more would really be squeezing the blood out of them. Well, why not squeeze them? Because you'd literally give this money up. Because they're going to take the 100 million and be like, okay, have fun negotiating these deals. Have fun, bye. And then leave you fucking dick in hand. All of your money's gone. And you're fucked. In the first place, 100 million is just a crazy amount. I agree, it wasn't a sum we could have gathered in the first place. They were obviously mocking us by asking for the impossible. Who cares? If we actually get 100 million, they won't be able to refuse, yes? No, they literally can. Who's gonna tell him? Yeah, we can. It's impossible. Isn't it our job to do the impossible? We already done the impossible to get 670 million. We need to take a look at reality. This pile here is our limit. Do you really realize how many stores have got under? How many people have hung themselves to get us this much? To be honest, we've probably gone too far, haven't we? We've been so hungry for meat, we've killed off all the cows and chickens. If we let them live, we might have been able to take their eggs and milk and eggs, and yet we crushed them all and turned them into meat. Yeah, because you guys are fucking morons. There you go. That's what we've done to barely gather 70 million. The city's already been squeezed dry. People have gathered their family assets and left the city. They even have enough money to move in the first place. In the end, we're parasites. The human we're infesting dies. We can't go on living ourselves. So what is it you want to do? We're thinking this is the perfect time to start an amusement park. The perfect time for what? City 23 is done for. There's no more business to be done here. We're going to invade City 22. Chinatown will swallow it up. And that will be the end. We should move our business elsewhere too. Does that mean you're surrendering? I'd rather call it a shifted position. With this much money, we could seek our fortune anywhere. No, on the contrary, we could even live in a luxury for the rest of our lives. City 23 is done for. We'll start to see signs of us going too far. It won't be long before we're stuck in a fight with the occupying forces. It's time to abandon the city. Changing plans is a wise move. If you want to call that surrender, that's fine by me. Miguel's knife was suddenly sticking out of the man's forehead. After a brief pause, cross of blood bubbled out. It was a horrifyingly quick job. If you're going to use the word surrender, then you can hardly complain if you're killed, right? I'll forgive you just this once, but don't do that again, okay? We understand. Okay, 30 million left. Let's give it our all. No options off the table. This is a battlefield. If the Japanese are all dried out, then squeeze some Americans or Chinese. That's actually fucking stupid. You know how moronic that is. Hey, let's actually just start a war again. We will get massacred because we can't fight this. The occupying forces are scared of a fight with us. No, they aren't. They literally aren't. So you know they won't get involved. The Chinese were quick to pull out their guns, dude. You can only dream of it being them not wanting to fight, dude. Don't even try. You will get crushed like a bug, like you did in the war. It's Butler, I'm coming in. American flag. Have a seat, Captain. There have been several recent cases of good American citizens receiving illegal threats from gangster groups. This is a situation we can't overlook. Have you read this? Certainly. I imagine it's the work of the Caleb family. Caleb, when given the impossible task of gathering $100 million, had acted in the most overbearing manner possible. And now he had stopped limiting his targets to Japanese people and was finally beginning to go after Americans. Actually, more proof he doesn't care about Japanese people, because he wouldn't have started with them. Good memes. If American citizens were being harmed, even the occupying forces couldn't stay silent. The Caleb family must have understood that. Yeah, there would be outrage. The American government would be demanding those people to be fucking killed. Because they're fucking very critical on that stuff. However, to scrape together that unreasonable sum of $100 million, they have finally been forced to act without regards to appearance. They don't have to gather that much. That's only if they want to deal with them. This wasn't an unforeseeable result of demanding 100 million Japanese dollars, such an unreasonable sum. Oh, I thought a man capable of negotiating with us could surely manage a sum such as that. I wonder. To me, it certainly seems to be a sum matching the situation we've seen here. We did ask for 100 million Japanese dollars. However, we didn't ask for the 100 million bloodstained and crumpled Japanese dollars. We asked for neatly obtained, brand new money fitting for us to receive. That's what Caleb doesn't understand. You mean money that can be gathered without troubling any American citizens? Correct. I don't care how much they have to squeeze from the Japanese to get up. However, if they're going to do harm to American civilians, our justice will not ignore their lawlessness. Are you telling me to bring Caleb in? According to your report, that would not be a good option. He is an extremely untouchable man. They have a full military? Please. He really is like a bomb that might go off at any moment. He will only explode once, however. If we're clumsy about it, both sides will be torn to bits. The big American-Chinese occupying forces high command conference is drawing near. We don't want a disturbance at this time in a city under American army jurisdiction. On the other hand, if we let that man run wild, he could explode at any time. Don't you think it's possible we're the ones who lit the fuse? Nah. Watch your tongue, Captain. We're civilized men. We're willing to come to the table if someone wants a deal, be they barbarians or citizens of a defeated country. At least until, as a result of that meeting, we realize that they aren't someone worth bringing to the table a second time. Well, it looks like the one-time fling of ours is going to cost us. I'll pretend I didn't hear that. We cannot overlook the possibility that Caleb will bring further harm to American civilians. However, we want to avoid an all-out war with them if at all possible. I understand. Sorting out troubles like that are my specialty, Director General. Everyone, forgive me, but I'll ask that you leave your seats. I would like to speak with the captain alone. When the Director General of City 23's occupying forces coughed, the officers who served as his secretaries rose from their seats. Philip Butler had been given the rank of captain, but certainly hadn't been in the hopes that he would perform brave feats on the battlefield. Butler's true talent was what the Japanese called nuwaza. dealing with things behind the scenes. Nawaza? Sure. Just as he had done with the case of the Lieutenant Peter McDowell's disappearance. He would stealthily resolve issues that couldn't be made public, without anyone suspecting that he was involved. When the high-ranking officers whispered about him, he was sometimes referred to as the ninja. What? You can't just fucking stop there. What were they gonna talk about? Chinatown it is. Hello. Greetings, Caleb. It has been too long. This is Lee Meiju. Oh, it's you. You're calling to apologize, right? I've heard how you've been taking care of some of our young men. Is it a fight you want? That is my line. You have beaten up several of our young men, haven't you? The Kale family underlings in their fervor to gain credit for catching Rose and their allies had been conducting fake inspections near Chinatown. However, they had gone overboard and gotten into a scuffle with a group of young members of the Golden Dragon Society. Back during the time of the many rival underground warlords, fighting with Chinatown and its powerful foothold has been taboo. However, the issue of turf lines has been smoldering for a long time, and the consolidation of Japanese power had suddenly sparked up that old conflict. The best way to stop a territory war from getting out of hand was to focus on the enemy's attention inward, making sure the enemy is always divided. In conflict, and facing inward is the most important factor. The Japanese were pigs on their own, but if they were grouped together, they could sometimes become dragons. They could never allow the Japanese to unite. The words of the young lord who had unified all of the Golden Dragon Society in his youth echoed through Lee's mind. At first, the goal of their plan had been to slightly weaken the Alfred family, which had gotten too big. However, Leo Shishigami meeting up with Caleb and joining forces with the Caleb family had been completely outside of their calculations. The Alfred family was crushed in the span of a night, and the bound to power in 23 was destroyed. In the end, it had been the birth of the dragon called Caleb. It's not my problem. Don't you get the wrong idea, Lee. City 23 is mine. You mean all of City 23 except Chinatown? That's the important part. What did you say? Fine. You want to pick a fight with me? Caleb, please calm down. I hear that you're going through a very troubling time. I have heard that you are gathering lots and lots of money, rushing to save your countrymen. Where do you hear that from? That is why you can't trust the Chinese. What you are doing is admirable. It is truly admirable to collect money for the sake of your countrymen. However, the amount of money you need is very, very large, and it's quite extraordinary. What are you trying to say? Get back to the point. Not everyone living in City 23 is Japanese. We Chinese live here as well. We are fellow residents of this city. It's only natural that we help one another. As to that money you're giving to the occupying forces, would it be possible for me to have a piece of that deal? What? Just as you want to save your Japanese countrymen, I would like to save my Chinese countrymen. To do that, it is very important that I have a share of that special offers counter for occupying forces business projects. American and Chinese don't get along. You're trying to use me as a conduit to dig into their game, aren't you? Nothing of this sort. I have no such intentions. Like we'd let you get involved and make things more complicated. I've got no interest in your offer. I'm hanging up. So long. Wait. Caleb. The tone of Lee's voice lowered slightly and grew colder. Do you still not understand why Japan lost the war? What? It is because you tried to fight a war against China and America, both to the east and the west. And they say, he who runs after two hares will catch neither. Caleb, I do not think that increasing the number of your enemies is your best strategy. What about you? Are you okay with having me as your enemy? I believe the Golden Dragon Society higher ups want to avoid a war with me. City 22 has enemies aplenty too, don't they? You may have been ordered to play nice with me, but I don't think you have been ordered to pick a fight with me. Even if you fight a war with me, the Golden Dragon Society will just send me your head as a gift and try to bargain with me. The Kale family, with its tremendous momentum, had led Lee to change his plan. If he couldn't prevent the unification of Japanese forces in City 23, he could try to get a piece of the action. He had obtained information saying that Caleb was having trouble squeezing out the ridiculous sum of 100 million. He had wanted to offer his assistance and take a bite out of the Caleb family's pie, But are you certain there is no chance of us becoming friends? If we join forces, procuring 100 million would no longer be undoable. And that is not all. If our two families form an alliance, the range of our business will be expanded. You will be able to gain more profit. Tell me, what do you have to gain by passing up on all of that? It's Japan, a country for the Japanese. We'll leave you alone as long as you stay good and quiet. However, you start swaggering about and acting like you own our place, we won't show any mercy. Stay quiet and out of the way. Don't try to fool it around with secret maneuvers again. Got that? That's all I have to say. Clank. He hung the phone up without waiting for a reply. Lee shrugged, set the receiver down, then he put his feet up on the table and looked at the ceiling. A carp must climb a waterfall and be acknowledged by the heavens before becoming a dragon. You poor carp, you failed at becoming a dragon. Lee flipped a nut in his thumb and sent it flying high towards the ceiling. It succumbed to gravity and fell straight into the mouth of the iguana on his shoulder. Thanks, iguana. Well, that was easy. Leo, while taking care to hide his identity, made a point of going outside when he could. Of course, his goal was to find information. The Kale family's movements, the movements of Richard and Cyrus, who had escaped. They couldn't put Claudia at risk forever. It was essential to actively gather information so they could decide what they should do next. Even the marketplace has changed. Once when Alfred kidnapped Claudia, he had gone into a building in this area. Back then, this marketplace was overflowing with people coming and going. It isn't because of the rain. The crowds really have thinned. The place used to be a free marketplace, where not just business people, but ordinary citizens had premises. As long as you paid a fee to the marketplace manager, anyone could easily open a shop here. Well, now you have 2 fees you have to pay. There had been families that needed money fast and were forced to sell their belongings. Also, people had come here from the countryside with rice bags on their backs, hoping to get rich quick. The place was once filled with a chaotic vigor and a mix of people of the good and bad. But now the number of people had noticeably fallen. The boss of this marketplace was also under the Kale family's umbrella, and because of the large amount of protection money they were forced to pay, the fee for opening a shop had risen dramatically. As a result, the city residents were no longer able to open shops easily and were forced to leave the marketplace. Go figure. Who would have fucking guessed? And on top of that, if they tried to open up a shop anywhere else, thugs would suddenly show up and demand outrageous amounts of protection money. We love Japanese people. People, things, and money. Everything was swallowed up by darkness, vanishing from the world of the day. Hell, I like Japanese people more than these people do. Fuck. Caleb. So that's what your war is about. You've forgotten who we went to war to protect. Hey, hold up there. Leo thought he had crossed gazes with a man passing by. That man, he looked like Wayne. Hold on, Wayne. Wayne didn't stop. He started running like he was trying to escape. Leo chased after him. Then he ran into a dirty alley with trash scattered about and pathetically slipped on some garbage and fell. You okay? Good job, Wayne. Where have you been, Wayne? We've been looking for you. I'm not Wayne. I'm just a rat. Wayne didn't even stand up. He just pounded his fist in a puddle and yelled. Rose is safe. I think the others are safe too, but I can't get in touch with them. I see. Rose is safe. They're turning the city inside out to find her. Seems that way. We don't even know how long our current hiding place will last. But if you're there, then Rose won't have to worry. An old man like me isn't enough. We need the strength of a young person. Enough, I'm useless. I don't have the right to look at Rose's face again. I should have stopped her. I should have helped her escape, even if it killed me. I failed to do both of those things. When Rose told me to get a car started, I was so happy to be relied upon. When things got tough, you weren't the one she relied on, I was. That's what I thought. I was so happy with myself. Rose trusts you. And look what came out of it. Look at what happened. Right now, Rose wants to be saved. She needs your strength. I'd love to save her if I could, but I'm useless. No matter how much of a sewer rat like me brags about his personal fighting style, he'll never measure up. A skinny rat like me would just be conceited if he thought he could save Rose. Wayne finally staggered to his feet. Then he finally turned to face Leo. But even so, I want to give up this life of mine for Rose. If you wanted me and Caleb to finish each other off, I'd go and do it right now. I don't care what happens to my life. Calm down. Even if you try to act tough on your own, you won't even get close to Caleb. It's right, isn't it? It's right, isn't it? A skinny rat like me couldn't even get close to him. Calm down, you're no rat. You've got fangs, Mad Dog Wayne, right? Mad Dog Wayne? Me? What's wrong? I couldn't even become a dog. I'm a rat. You aren't a rat. You're Mad Dog Wayne. I couldn't even become a dog. 1 second, Wayne was hanging his head, his fist trembling. The next, his knees and hands had splashed down into the puddle. Leo. No. Leo! Please make me a dog. Wayne. Right now I'm a rat. That's why I want to find fangs and become a dog again. I want to become a real Mad Dog Wayne, who can step forward with pride and save Rose from danger. I want to become a strong fighter. I want to become a good shooter. I want to be as strong as you. And just one more time, I want to offer up my life for Rose. I'm begging you, please, make me a man. Wayne placed his forehead in the puddle, yelling with all his body and soul. He'd always wanted to become stronger. He wanted to live strongly on his own without relying on anyone else. However, even the strength of his determination hadn't been enough to protect Rose. For the first time, he had found the limits of his personal styles and self-teaching. He'd been in all of his pride and bowed his head to Leo. Yeah, sure, why not? Then Leo gently stretched out a hand to Wayne, who now looked shabby and pathetic. Don't call me an old man again. That hurts, actually. Leo. How are you doing for food? I'll treat you. Don't try and turn me down this time, young man. Sure. Wayne begged Leo not to tell Rose about him. He wanted to become his own man and forgive himself before reappearing. As a man, Leo decided to make allowances for this feeling. Starting that day, Leo began to meet with Wayne. He gave Wayne a thorough drilling on martial arts and gun usage, polishing up the raw material that Wayne was. Wayne quietly absorbed all these fighting techniques. Come to think of it, he used to live life assuming that all adults were enemies. Anytime an adult tried to teach him something or push him around, he'd treated it as a humiliation. He erased all of his history from his mind. He entrusted all of his power and potential to Leo, and began to be reborn. Good. It's about time he's not a loser. They were unable to gather any info on the movements of their friends and had no idea what to do next. The reunion with Wayne was the one spot of light in an otherwise hopeless time. The 10th day since the shootout at Rose's apartment approached. What happens on the 10th day? I don't know. I couldn't even imagine where they've been hiding. Rose and the others must be hiding somewhere in this city. Richard is probably with them. The money they took from the safe must have been a large sum. If only we could catch them, we might be able to make up that 100 million. Damn! The 100 million number had been much more troublesome than Caleb had imagined. Thinking back on it, he should have suggested lowering the amount or paying in installments. Yeah, probably. However, if he had done something like that, he would have been mocked and made to look a fool. It's better to look a fool than kill everyone. That male stubbornness had driven him badly into a corner. Empty shops everywhere. This area has become quite deserted too. The old lady at the tobacco store. She always used to be so nice to me. It's going to get lonely. This whole city is. Masses of my war buddies are starving even today. Those people who pretended not to see them and sat around selling stuff better not start whining because of something like this. Yeah, let's make everyone starve instead. Great fucking idea, dude. Instead of some Japanese people doing well, how about no Japanese people do well? I mean, except us. Each one of them quickly closed up shops and ran away. Huh. It sure is nice to be an average city dweller. If any of us had tried that, we would have been shot for desertion. You fucking loser. You see, we had to keep moving forward no matter what kind of fire we were under. There was nowhere to run off to. Even if we lost an arm or had our intestines spilling out, we were trained to hug a hand grenade and blow up along with our enemies. People abandon their war buddies and run away are defeatists, traitors. We'll kill them all and hang them high. We can even get some money out of them by pulling out their golden teeth. Just one more push and we'll reach 100 million. And yet, damn it! If you do gather 100 million, does that really mean you'll be able to bargain with them? No. Yeah, Butler promised me that. And what if the occupying forces break their promise? And when that happens, there'll be war. I'll walk in the occupying forces headquarters alone if I have to, and massacre every last one of the bastards who conned me. Then I might scatter the money we've collected from the rooftop and slice open my chest. Considering that this was Caleb, he might actually do something like that. Don't worry, he'll die before he can step foot inside of that office. Amanda waved her fan, gazing at the gray cityscape. If he's dealing with someone who's willing to die, even Captain Butler can't afford to make careless lies. Butler probably understood that Caleb was willing to bet his own life. But I mean, there's no guarantee that the people want to do contracts with you. What if they just said, nah, I don't want to? What if they don't speak Japanese? They had proposed 100 million as a clearly unattainable sum. Still, they probably thought that if Caleb really gathered it up, they would no longer be able to balk at him. If they had that 100 million, the unreasonable pressure placed by the Caleb family on the city would come to an end. No, it wouldn't. Because then it's just the next 100 million. Did you search the houses of the Primavera girls? What's that? Many of the girls are fond of Rose. She might be concealed in the homes of one of the girls. Yeah, do that. Miguel took care of that long ago. He checked the list of girls working in Primavera top to bottom, but none of them turned up anything. Did you check the girls who had already stopped working at the club? What? Me, one of those girls who quit Primavera before I took control, is taking care of her. A girl who saved up money, quit the store, and started her own business, for example. Do you have someone in mind? Claudia Kurosaki. She was a close friend of Rose's, and I believe her apartment is close to Rose's. Great. Thanks, Amanda. You're a great person.